Number 20, an investment has a balance of $2,000 and earns 3.2% interest each year. And it says 150 is added at the end of each year by the account holder and no money is withdrawn from the investment. And they want the function that represents future years, how much is going to be in the account. So it's not the interest they're wanting, it's the actual balance. So what is our beginning balance? Our beginning balance, if you look here at these numbers, what they mean is the B of 0 is just the initial year, or the initial balance. So very much like your y-intercept. And then if we plugged in, N stands for the number of years. So in other words, that's at 0 years or before we even start investing. So N is the number of years. Earning interest. So now that I know what my variables stand for, I'm better able to answer this question. So now let's look at the only B of 0, or in other words, our only y-intercept that makes any sense. It says our balance is $2,000 before we start investing. So B of 0 equals 15. Geez, that's not our y-intercept. Or 150. It's not 150 bucks. 2,000. Yep, that matches that. So it could be B. Look at C. C has 150. Well, that's wrong. And then D has 2,000 for the beginning balance. So it's either B or D. Right off the bat, I know that. So next up, we want to look at how it's actually calculated. So they're both adding 150. So they're not different there. They're just different on what we're multiplying by. So either one of them has 3.2% written as a decimal, the other one has 3.2% added to one whole, which is, in other words, 100% plus the 3.2%. That's what this one is. What I like to do with this type of question is, I know the answer is D, but I want to prove why it's D. So after I think it's D, I'm going to prove why it's not B. So if I were to plug in after 1 year, I know exactly how much I'm going to earn. So after 1 year, I'm going to plug in a 1 for N. In other words, you can just make a table and see what happens. So plug in a 1 for N. That means after 1 year has passed, how much is in the account? Well, if we plug in a 1 for this one, we're going to have B of 1 equals 0.032. B to the 1 minus 1, I just plugged in a 1 for B, which is really what? 0. And then plus 150. Now I'm going to plug in. I know B of 1 equals 0.032. I know what B of 0 is. That's my initial amount, which is 2,000. So I'm going to plug in 2,000. And if I multiply those out, I only get $64. So $64 is being added to the 150. So in my account, you're telling me that I have $214 in my account after 1 year? Geez, I'd be pretty upset, wouldn't you? I had 2,000 in there and they said I'm earning interest. I don't earn anything. In fact, I lost money. So I just proved why B is wrong. So remember, the whole amount is called 1 or 100%. And we're just adding 3.2% to that. So it's like 100% plus 3.2%, which gives us 103.2%. And now these are written as decimals, so over 1 over 2, that's where it would become 1.032. So that's why D is correct. But let's go ahead and prove it by plugging it in. Alright, now the only difference again was that 1 in front of the 0.032, so I'm going to slip that back in there. And now if I do 1.032 times 2,000, now that's going to be greater than what I started with. So 2,064, and then I'm going to add 150 to it. So plus 150 gives me 2214. That seems way more reasonable because I started out with 2,000 and now I'm getting an extra $64 in interest plus the 150 that I add back in. So D is correct. Just one more thing to point out. If you were losing money, then it would be 1 minus the percentage. For instance, 1 minus 0.032. But here we're gaining money, so it's 1 plus 0.032.